Guys, it's actually Rak-Su. Welcome back. We are a couple of days after the fight with OJ Rose. And I wanted to talk with my good friend, recently turned nemesis, Ben the Bane Davis, who was on commentary that night because I fundamentally disagreed with some of the things that I heard. But Ben, welcome to the party. How you doing, my brother?
I'm pumped to be here, Ashley. Congrats on the draw, first off. And I'm here to disagree. I'm here to provide obviously a different perspective. It was a fun fight, though, and it was a very exciting one. To kick it off, what did it go how you expected it?
Did it go how I expected it to? So I knew, at least I thought I was prepared anyway, for OJ's engine. Like, that's one thing I definitely respected about him, and I knew that he was going to be super tough. He was going to come forward. Knowing what his personality is like and also knowing what his coach is like, I knew they would have prepared well, and I knew it was going to be the hardest fight I could have. But I wanted it because I knew it was going to be the one that could potentially launch me towards that slim fight. When I got in there, I think in sparring, I'd been quite used to my sparring partners resetting. So when people are come forward fighters, when they get jabbed or they get hit, they reset. And that reset can be 2-3 seconds of them just recalculating before walking forwards again. And I think OJ took me aback because that reset time was like instant. It was like, it didn't actually stop him. He would just take the hit and continuously come, which then drove the pace of it. And I think in round one, we can watch the video, but like I clocked that I was having to throw a lot to keep him off. And in the back of my mind, I was kind of like remembered Callum Izzard blowing out and OJ running through him. So I was like, all right, let's manage this. So yeah, sometimes I think you assume you're prepared, but then you get in there and you really feel how fast someone is or how strong someone is or how fit someone is. And it's like, okay, no, this is tough. And that's probably what I went through.
It's a fight, right? You can't prep 100% exactly how it's going to go. There's going to be curveballs. But I thought both you guys did a great job. And I thought the commentating team did an excellent one.
I feel like the commentary team did an excellent job of making it entertaining, and putting a narrative to it. But I feel like at times it may have been a little bit, it may have been unfair to me, but we'll hear shortly. Yeah, so we can go through it, and it doesn't have to just be about the commentary. I guess we can talk about the fight as well, because it ended in a draw and a lot of people had different opinions on it. Just shout whenever you want, or I would do the same, and I can pause it and we can obviously talk about that moment and go through it.
I want to say, before we even start watching, the 4 scoring criteria in boxing you and I and those watching back home should be aware of: effective aggression, ring generalship, defense, and hard punches and clean punches. Those are the 4 kind of pillars that we're judging this one on. And we talked earlier about a hierarchy, but we have a hierarchy. Some other people have hierarchies. It's whatever you value. So those are the 4 things to keep in mind.
Yeah. Personally, as I said, I value punching the other person and not getting punched. Like, to me, I'm like, that's got to be number 1. But I understand people have different objectives of it. And do you know what? I feel like this is strictly egotistical. I think I want people to turn around and say, hey, Ash, you lost that fight, but you did hit OJ more times than you hit him. I think I'll be okay with that. Like, but I think I want that acknowledged. I'm like, if that's how you feel, that's how you feel. But I'm not comfortable with the narrative that he just walked me down and beat me up for the whole fight. Because I'm like, no, like in these interactions, like I'm scoring shots. But yeah, we'll get into it. Big shout out to Alfie Edits, who's my editor, who actually did a bit of a significant punch count as well, so we can see that as we go. But yeah, man, let's get into this fight. Rak-Su versus OJ.
It is a very even matchup. 2 nicknames for OJ Rose, right? Ashley, Rak-Su starting strong with that jab. He's quick.
Never stands still, Ashley Rak-Su. He's always bouncing around, always moving, always jittery. But OJ Rose has to slow him down.
All right, hold on a second.
Yep.
All right, I don't want to, no shots at your editor. And it is a little Gucci right here. But in that sequence, it did look like Rose landed with a couple more than 1 punch.
Oh, okay. Let's go back. We can see Where do you think the clean shot was landed?
I feel like I'd give him at least 2.
That was one. He got the uppercut in, and that's on one.
Maybe it's just the what I'm looking at in the video and kind of the lag. It looked like 2.
What was the second? What was the second shot?
But OJ Rosé.
Nah, the left doesn't land.
Okay. Didn't land. Fair.
But also, as I said, my editor's been quite conservative. Even some of like the touch and go ones I've touched him with the jab, he's not counted them. He's counting like it's a significant someone's head has moved or something like.
I do want to say, while we're here 30 seconds in, and this is what we talked about, was how in round 1, you're doing such a good job of jabbing and not getting really cut off or pushed up against the rope.
Yeah.
Right? Even when he is throwing those big shots, constant circling. Did you prep for him being orthodox?
Yeah. Oh, is in him fighting in an orthodox stance?
Yeah.
Yeah. Why?
Because you keep circling into his power side, which I think is interesting.
So for me, I'm like, if I know the punch is coming, I don't mind what the punch is. Does that make sense? So it's like if I'm circling to his right and I'm not tired and I know he's going to throw his right hand, like as you can kind of see then when he went to throw it, I can deal with that. So I actually don't mind which way that I circle, because again, even with that, like where he comes in there and then I'm like, cool, I'll throw the check hook. So when I'm tired, obviously it's a really, that then changes everything. But if I'm still fresh and my reactions are working, then I don't mind. It actually makes it a little bit more predictable.
Okay. Those are some good shots. Yeah.
And I'm like, even in these scenarios, like, okay, yeah, I probably shouldn't be staying there as long, but he's not teeing off at this stage anyway.
So,
real legit boxing skills.
That was the comment. That was the comment. I was like, Todd, what's going on here?
well, listen, right before that, I said OJ needs to work more.
Yeah.
And we praised the jab. We talked about the personality. You had tweeted and gotten this bandwagon of people. And go, oh yeah, the commentary for that fight was terrible and it was bad. It wasn't.
We're gonna go through it. It develops, but even just little things like that, because I think there's a lot of people who actually don't have that much of a experience or a knowledge of combat sports. So the commentary does really sway things, can sway things quite heavily. And so in the way I suppose the judges can get swayed by the last 30 seconds of a round by the action, I think the public can get swayed by the last 30 seconds of a round from the commentary as well. And so that comment of like, oh, he's displaying great boxing skills. I'm like, we are 2 minutes into this round so far. And if somebody was going to get the comment they've been displaying great boxing skills, I feel like up till this point, it probably should have been the guy in the red shorts. and I specifically say that's up to this point. Do you know what I mean? In the future, it changes. But up till here, I'm hearing that comment and I'm like, what?
You didn't hear that in the ring, did you?
No.
Okay, fair.
No matter what.
Yep.
So much gas in the tank, too. I mean, he's a cardio monster. Weaponizes.
That is true. He is a cardio monster. I will tell you that for sure.
He's a freak.
Yeah.
The guy's
No slowing down on the OJ train. 44 left to go, and he's touching the chin of Rak-Su.
Okay. Okay. It's like...
touch it.
44 left to go, and he's touching the chin of Rak-Su.
Which, I'm like... I'm like, okay, strictly speaking, yes. But like, objectively speaking, I feel like I've touched his chin a lot more than he's touched mine. I'm like, why is that the headline at this point? But granted, okay, cool. He touched it.
Now here, this is to the last 30 here.
Yep.
I've got down. Biggest shot of the round was from OJ. And when we talk about, obviously, the optics, I think the final stretch here is why people have... Because you and I agree. This was the second most definitive round of the fight, I would say, for you.
Yep.
And the last 30-second stretch here, I think people kind of might have been a little swayed by the upkick in activity.
They both agreed yesterday at the weigh-in. They both agreed we're going to stand and trade and have the fight of the night. Let's see if they do it.
1, 2, 3. One for OJ. And then nothing else lands until the end of the round.
Seconds, Rose trying to put a stamp on round one. Rak-Su dancing in the corner. Good movement from him, Nance.
So to your credit, you even appreciated that of all of that, none of that was effective. One of those shots got through. That's not effective aggression. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, it's not doing anything.
Unbelievable action as we close this out. I think OJ had the best of the second half, but
You know,
I think OJ had the best of the second half.
In my co-commentator's defense, when you look at that hierarchy, maybe some value, the generalship, the pressure, and again, in real time, at times, right, with the benefit of hindsight and fucking pausing it, we can arrive at different reflections. It was an interesting round.
It was. I mean, the whole fight was interesting. It was, and I should probably say this now as a caveat. Like, in the cold light of day, having watched it back numerous times, I'm upset within myself that it's a draw. Like, I'm upset that I didn't get the job done. But I'm not looking at this saying like I got robbed. Like, I completely understand how someone could come to a conclusion that it was a draw. All right. Round two.
That was OJ pushing the pace and landing at will, but I mean, hey, amp him up even further, and maybe this second round he'll have even more success.
I feel like his coach knew that he lost the first two rounds as well, by the way. I'm just going to throw that out there.
Okay, so with watching it back, I think that now I have a greater understanding of what his coach was referencing specifically. So that's all I'll say on that.
Because I think because the way his coach obviously berated him after rounds 1 and round 2, because I think his coach could see he was getting outlanded. But to OJ's credit, as time went on, he just stepped up the pressure, and stopped letting me fight him at long range.
Man's like, sorry, Todd. Bams, I gotta say, I love the lead hand of Rak-Su. Ashley's weaponizing the jab and keeping it at range, which I think he needs to.
yes, he does. As OJ keeps pushing forward, trying to find an angle, and he's succeeding. Ashley backing up quite a fair bit.
And I think what I need to understand as well is that little sequence there. To me, I'm like, nothing's like, I haven't been hit here, so I'm okay. Where I'm starting to develop, I suppose, and understand is that to you guys, what you've seen is OJ just walk me around the ropes and throw shots. So therefore, it's like, okay, he's on top there. I'm learning and kind of coming around as well. Yeah.
I think there is a lot of value in who's dictating where the fight's taking place. And while being on the back foot and fighting on the bike is certainly a strategy, the optics are OJ's pushing him around. OJ's the one that's, really putting the pace on here. Now, think about the fight with Halal Ham. You were pushing forward, landing at will. I don't know if Halal was pushing you around, kind of like OJ is, but you were landing the same amount of strikes and it was the same amount of damage. I don't know if people would be like that was as dominant.
So the only
would still go, oh.
And I guess the only difference is, and this is the lesson I've had to learn, is this fight wasn't necessarily a case of me just getting pushed back. It was up until this point, me willfully walking backwards. Like, I was happy doing that. Do you know what I mean? It's not like he was hitting me and making me go back. When I got uncomfortable, I actually started to go forwards because I was like, if he's going to get to me, I would rather him get to me at short range as opposed to him getting to me with extended lever where you're at risk of a knockout shot.
And that's a game plan thing, right? That's a strategy thing as well.
On the way in, a lot more early on. Like you guys said, OJ kind of figures it out.
I think you said beautiful bodywork, but you said it quietly.
I wasn't sure how beautiful. Rak-Su be watching us. But right there, that is something that you and I talked about earlier, was that obviously in real time and from the angle that we're commentating at, some of these shots to the body look like maybe they're getting through more so than they are. And that's something that's not specific to this fight. That's in general to the whole event. That's in general to every event. I think it is important for some people to realize that when you bash judging or when you bash commentating, they are seated at one fixed spot on the canvas. And, there's in real time some things that obviously could be improved upon or better, but
it's tough. It's a tough job.
Yeah, it's a hard job.
But more and more as the fight goes along,
That's what Gervonta Davis is known for. Terrence Crawford as well. They're not so concerned about how they start, but with how they finish. Nice shot digging there from Ashley.
Love it. Get those ribs. Butter them up, Ashley. 2 minutes to go. And I think that's a great idea, right? Touch the midsection. Bring that high guard of Rose down. He loves sitting behind it. You got to make him move it.
And this, I like that a lot from you. Yeah, clinching him up, pushing him backwards. I think that
Rose,
more consistency in that would have swayed a lot.
Yeah.
Him on the back foot, Rose pushing, man.
I don't think OJ remembered to put in his mouthpiece at the end of the round.
This is 2 fights in a row. OJ's left his mouth, put his mouth guard out.
Tough love.
It's a strategy, dude. It's a strategy.
Looking for a rest.
He's going to take his cup out next round. Oh, OJ now.
Okay, so this is something else as well, which is like, it's kind of nobody's fault. I get it. If we look at this little sequence, there's a couple of things that work really well for me here as they're talking, as Todd is having a conversation about something else. And then OJ hits me and it's like suddenly we're back to the boxing again.
Yeah, the two left hands.
Yeah, I'm like, I was like, that left hook, the jab, left uppercut. I'm like, that's one of the best things I've done in a ring, like from like a skill set perspective. I was really proud of that shit. And then to OJ's credit, he's like, fuck that shit.
And that's one of the things that we talked about is right there. So here, okay, fine. When we talked about the optics and the body language, is you land that good combo, and OJ's just still right there. And then he cracks it with that right, and there's Ashley goes back to the ropes a little bit. That is something that I think is completely valid, especially in real time, and especially when I think about rating effective aggression, hard and clean punching, significance, period, right? Is you caught it with those 2-3 punches, but then that right hand, that's just as good. And that balances it out from some people's perspective and how they would score it.
Oh, OJ now on the front foot. Ashley seems to be a little bothered by what OJ is doing here.
That right hand's finding the mark. Now, OJ getting to work in the corner. Rak-Su confined to it, trying to circle out here.
Yeah, Ashley kind of living on the edge there, wasn't he, man? Left that chin wide open.
He did. Got away with it. Ashley looks hesitant here.
That breath right there, that deep breath was something that made me go, oh fuck, he's feeling a little fatigued, like he's feeling a little bit.
And I was, but with regards to like, I suppose me being hesitant, I'm also in the ring, right? And I'm also computing, I'm winning this. I'm hitting him more than he's hitting me. There's no need for me to do anything else here. I don't need to overexert myself. I just need to stay defensively sound and continue to pick my shots when the opportunities come. And this is maybe the thing I have to change, but in my head, like, I'm like, I can't try and go for broke with OJ because he's too fit. And if I go for broke and I don't stop him, then
you are completely fucked.
Yeah. So I was like, so I'm like, just keep picking your shots, keep defending well, and win the round.
My standpoint and perspective, I see you take a deep breath and I go, oh, he's feeling it this last minute. And that's why there's a line about he's breathing heavy with a minute to go.
Yeah.
From that one deep breath, and again, maybe that's not exactly what you're feeling inside.
Yeah.
But I would attach to that, and that would be kind of my narrative for the next 60 seconds.
And you know what? And you'd be accurate in that because obviously I am feeling the pace. I just suppose in my head, I'm thinking me feeling the pace has got no bearing on who's winning the fight. But I understand why obviously it actually does in reality, because if you see two people having a fight and it's tough to pick it and one person looks like they're knackered, then so actually again, it's a learning point for me. It's all part of the game.
Especially with how he is pressuring. And that's the thing. If you were taking a deep breath and you're putting it on him and pushing him backwards, I might not mention it. You know what I mean? In fact, I might go, you know what, taking a deep breath because he's really pulling away, right? That's where I would say pulling away.
We'll get to that.
OJ putting Rak-Su on the other side. There's a left from Ashley.
He needs to do more of that, and he shouldn't be stuck in that corner. That does him no favors.
You're right. He's been on the back foot. He's letting OJ.
Because a lot of this stuff here, I'm cool with. Do you know what I mean? I'm just tucked up. and I'm cool with it.
Take the tempo.
So the reason I want to highlight that is when you're behind that guard,
Yeah.
and OJ's throwing a right hand or a left, and your body's moving kind of with it a little bit.
Yeah.
Optics would be like, oh, it's getting through, it's bleeding through. There's that significance. That's kind of what I was talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Where it's like when you hit him, he just fixed and he's not moving.
And the difference is I'm actually riding his punches and not taking it flush on. Whereas OJ, listen, he's a bad man. He just eats the shots.
But that's why in this last 30 seconds, from a commentary perspective, the optics is like, oh, he's got more meat on, because you're rolling with it a little bit more. But in that moment, it's looking like, oh, it's affecting him more.
Okay.
There you go. There's a right hand scores for Rose.
But a right hand scored for me as well, Todd. It's like, why are we ignoring my right? Because OJ, that's a great counter from OJ, right? You gotta give him his props for that. He's taken my shot and then fired his back. But it's like there's only one of those shots being acknowledged there.
This has been a better round for him for sure.
He's just gradually pulling away, man. OJ.
Pulling away. Bro.
In the final frames of this round,
Yep.
I think some people might think that I might have meant the whole fight.
I think that's what the fans would have thought. The fans hearing he's pulling away would assume you meant he's won round 1 and he's winning round 2 and he is pulling away in the fight.
The better articulation would have been final frames of round 2, Rose pulling away with this round. Something in that ballpark was more closely to what I was trying to articulate.
All right, I'm going to point you to the punches landed and then I'm going to press play and just...
It was very tit for tat. I think the style clash was exciting. It's why I mentioned that it was definitely a contender for fight of the night when it was all said and done.
Yeah.
I was the only one that said it was a fight of the night contender at the end of the broadcast.
Nice right there by Ashley. Swinging for the fences.
Get through, not fully clean and connected, but enough to make a little impact. But here's OJ putting Ashley against the corners again, and right into the rope.
This is why OJ Rose is such a nightmare to fight. He doesn't stop pushing forward. He doesn't stop staying in your face. That's going to drain guys, especially in Ashley Rak-Su, who's depleted himself so much to make this weight.
You're absolutely right. And you know, they both went under the weight that was agreed, which...
But it is, I mean, it's just slugging it back and forth, and that's why it is almost hard to judge, hard to commentate in that real time because it looks so even.
Yeah.
Because there's almost dust around you, too, where it's like I can't see exactly what's happening. All I can see is a flurry of punches to the midsection and each guy leaning on their guard.
Yeah, 'cause it's interesting. Like, would you value more in, let's take this next 10 seconds, right? Where the amount of, I'll let you judge it, but there's obviously an amount of punches and then there's like the cleaner, significant shot. So I'd be interested to know, just as the next like 10, 15 seconds, what do you think of it?
I do believe he's got to come alive as Rose connects again.
And that was the mistake. Wrestling with a bear for a boxing match where you could box a kangaroo.
Kangaroos hit hard. I mean, that's a tough animal as well, ma'ams.
OJ kind of resetting there.
Love the body.
So how are you seeing that last?
Yeah. Even, I'd probably give those last 10 to 15 to OJ.
That's so interesting. Wow.
But I want Ashley.
Wow.
Hear me when I say it's very even, and it's this ever so slight to OJ.
See that, and that's why I find this so interesting, because honest to God, that same stretch of time we've just watched that you would give to OJ, I would give to me. So it's actually.
Yeah, of course you.
No, but I'm talking about objectively, like even aside from it being, like I will say, like round 4, he kicked my ass, right? But you see what that sequence started with, where OJ goes double jab, right hand, and I kind of duck underneath it / catch it, right? And then as it breaks up, I hit him with a straight right. Not on his guard, like it lands flush. And then we end up going together, and OJ throws 1, 2, 3 body shots, right? And they're kind of on the arms-ish. And then I catch him with one under the elbow, and it's flush. Do you know what I mean? So it's just interesting that obviously you are counting the aggression and the activity But to me, my genuine appraisal of it is that I'm looking at it and I'm going, catch, clean shot, catch, clean shot. Obviously, like, and that's fascinating. Like, genuinely, that 15 seconds, I saw the opposite way to how you saw it. But that's why that's why sport's great, right?
You're gonna kill me the next time we see each other.
No, I'm not. I actually, as I said, it's cool, man. Like, I'm finding it's interesting.
Well, Ashley's a bit more unconventional, obviously, than Rose, who's more of a technical boxer, so to speak. So Ashley's got to pull some of these unorthodox punches. Like
See, if you asked me how to judge those last 7 seconds, I would have said you. Because you're landing, and I could see that it's flush, and there is a movement on OJ. You landed that right, and his body moved with it by virtue of the punch. There was an effect. You could see there was damage, significance. Some of the shots that you land on OJ, you could say they're cleaner, and they could add to the punch total. But for me, I'm like, I got to go for damage. Damage supersedes all else. And the biggest indicator of damage is if your other guy's moving. That shot right there moved OJ. I would go, yeah, Ashley won that exchange.
Damage supersedes all. Okay, interesting. You're a very aggressive man, Ben.
Well, I mean, scoring criteria.
OJ Rose's power, but Ashley Rak-Su has some heat in the hands. There he is, battling the chin.
Rose trying to get inside. Ashley having a better round here in the third.
Oh, I'm just scared for Rose's corner. What are they going to say to him after this?
Preemptively apologize for the language that we're going to hear.
Go ahead and put that banner up on the screen now.
Let's just leave it on there.
But I do want to hear what they say.
You can see OJ trying to gauge and find a range. Those right hands already.
So those two little shots there that I landed, obviously there's no power behind it. They're literally they're just touches. To you, do you prefer the fact that OJ's just swung for the fences a couple of times, even though he's missed?
No, I don't like that question. Right before because you threw a 2 and a 1 that touched him. Right before that, he landed a good right hand that I would say was the more significant shot.
Did he? Hold on, let's watch it.
Yeah. You're trying to set.
No, we can see.
Some heat in the hands. There he is, battling the chin.
So from here, right? Save a shot. Do you think lands for him?
Rose trying to get inside. Ashley having a better round here in the third.
Oh, I'm just scared
coming
for
up.
Rose's corner. What are they going to say to him after this?
So that's me there.
Yeah.
That's me there again.
Let's just leave it on there.
But I do want to hear what they say.
You can see OJ trying to
Dodge.
and find
Yeah, dodge.
Misses.
Me.
already locked in.
Right there. I felt
Me?
that right when he was coming out. That right when he was coming out.
But you're seeing like that right when he's coming out. I've hit him 5 times in this in the space of that.
I don't know if I agree with some of the punch.
We just watched it on video. But this is why I asked the question, because it's like, granted, then they're not me putting full blood or full power behind them, and that's why I'm asking. It's like, would you rather one big punch than 5 pitter-patter punches?
I would say, in the essence of what would be the more damaging shot.
No, I'm not saying what's the more damaging shot. I'm just saying in scoring the fight. Yeah.
And he lands a good right hand, and you could tell that it's affecting you. And there's some more significance behind it. I would probably go, all right, he's.
Okay.
Here's the thing. What I should have mentioned this earlier again, but I don't believe that just punches landed, punch total is really indicative of the fight or how the fight should be scored. Because, for instance, Sean Strickland outlanded Dricus du Plessis by 50 punches, maybe even more, and lost the UFC middleweight championship. It's just not how I view things, right? You can outland somebody, but what was the more significant strike?
So I can
pull up dozens.
I feel like if you were a judge in Floyd Mayweather's era, history would have been rewritten.
The problem is, Floyd's defense was so good that barely anybody was fucking landing clean on him.
I hear you, but I'm getting landed clean less than I'm doing the landing. Do you know what I mean?
Well, and also the commentary team is singing the praises.
Okay.
You know,
Okay.
Putting too much pressure on them, maybe, Tom.
I will say I love the uppercuts that OJ Rose has been utilizing tonight. Split the guard beautifully.
Better round for Ashley. Did he win it? And if he won the first round, could he in fact be in the lead as OJ lands?
That was a good shot from OJ at the end there.
big swings to end the third. And the last 2 rounds, I had slight 10-9s to OJ, but would not be a robbery if they were scoring.
Big swings to end the third. There's more that happened in the third than just what happened at the end of it.
Watching, I wasn't gonna type exactly what
but like I'm just saying, there's 3 minutes of it, and it's like I won 2 minutes 57 seconds of it. It wasn't that dramatic. I'm lying. It's not that dramatic. But yeah. Anyway, round four. This is the one where I think I lost. Well, I started off with a good body shot, but
Ian was berated in his corner. Let's see if he can respond. And fight is a close one.
Okay, right. Ashley's got to bite down a little bit more, in my opinion. Start trading.
I was trying, dude.
Because we don't know kind of edging it. So Ashley, 2:30 left to go.
You're right, and Ashley's having a tough time finding OJ at the end of the punch, you know? He's getting some shots in, but not with full impact.
Especially not at this range. I mean, Rose just eliminates space.
Which the range this fight was fought at in the last couple of rounds, especially this round, is actually because of me. Like, as we mentioned earlier, I was cautious of at mid-range, if OJ's got full power left and I'm getting tired, it leaves me susceptible to getting hit at the end of a punch, which is going to be super dangerous. So it's actually my choice to say, I'm going to fight you in a phone box so you can't get that off. And I'm happy to catch your shots and then counter with them cleanly. So that's just an interesting wrinkle whereby it looked one way, but actually it was my choice for us to fight here.
Forces you in the phone booth, and Rak-Su not as comfortable as OJ Rose there.
See, because moments like that, where was that where it hurt you?
Not hurt, but it was significant enough for me to respond to it. Yeah. So, like, yeah.
Because I was like, in those moments, it's like you have the guard up, you're catching it, but your body's also moving, and that's where I would go, okay, he's winning that exchange. Whereas the opposite, when you land on his guard, sometimes he doesn't move as much.
I feel you. But that sequence from OJ was like really good. That was definitely, that was a bit of an onslaught for sure.
And Ashley's having fun in there.
He's having fun getting punched in the face, Bob. That is not how you win a fight.
There's 3 people out there, man.
Hey, we won't go there, Tom.
A glutton for punishment.
Sorry. My bad. No, I felt bad.
I felt that.
Nice footwork, trying to look like Lomachenko in there as OJ Rose. Body shot.
Head movement as well. I mean, he's putting it all together. This is the bounce back we wanted to see from that loss to Gabe Silva. OJ Rose leveling up with 90 seconds to go, Mams.
This looks like, I don't know, it looks like...
So this for me is too passive, and I'm not countering like I was beforehand, and OJ's just, I mean, that's a bit better, but...
Yeah. You know, object here in this one.
I think it's an important round, though, very important round.
That's the shot that got me.
Yeah.
And Ashley smiling and holding on, and we all know what that means.
Smart response. I mean, that's exactly what you needed to do. Was clinch and get close to him.
Ben, this might stop in like 30 seconds, in which case I'll just like recall you again.
Sure. A left from Ashley Rak-Su. We got 40 seconds to go. The fight could still hang in the balance. We don't know.
Even that was me still hurting. So I was like...
Turned into a linebacker.
That was survival mode.
Inside the ring, 30 seconds to go. Ashley Rak-Su, OJ Rose. Let's leave it all in there.
That was a really good look for that angle from OJ as well. He did it a couple of times. Yeah. It didn't quite come off, but I've got respect for the creativity.
I was surprised at how quick he was able to get to that position too. I mean, it was a fast jump.
Yeah, he still had a lot in the legs. Even like going through round 4, I felt like he was fine. Like from a cardio perspective, the kid is a freak. Like,
talk much. Never talk much, but
yeah,
he's an animal.
He's just all business. He's a businessman. Shout out to OJ Rose. You're an animal.
Punches have slowed down a lot. Yeah, get inside towards the shortest punch that can land. Final 10 seconds. Ashley might want to throw some offense out. Catching him clean with a right.
He's going for it. Yes.
And that will do it. Wow. Good fight.
What is your thought process going through right here in this moment? What do you think?
But I'm not willing to.
I'm tired of shit. and I'm hurt. There's I'm not gonna say too much about it to give too much away, but the last 90 seconds of that round was being fought on heart, basically. The way that I felt, like if it was sparring, I probably would have stopped. I would have been like, yo, guys, that's me done for today, if that makes sense. So it was just a case of, I was like, obviously it's a fight, doesn't matter if you're hurt or not, we got to keep going, doesn't matter what the injury is, we got to keep going. So for me, I think the first thing I said to my coach was actually about like what I had felt when I was in there. And that was actually the only thing that was kind of on my mind at that moment in time, to be honest with you. Because I guess I'm still new to it, right? And so I'm not actually used to being hurt. I guess there's certain fighters who like, it's just part of a parcel and you just get on with it. But to me, I'm still like, whoa, that didn't feel so good.
That was a good punch. I mean, he's like got you with a missile, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, so that's what was on my mind more than anything, to be honest with you. Whilst weirdly continuing to smile, clearly I love getting punched. I don't know what it is, but yeah, I'm just always happy.
The commentary wrap up from the round was very, very close, leaning OJ. Could be 2-2. Hard to judge with how even it was. I think that was so. When you had tweeted out to get everyone to gang up on the commentators, and you're saying that you're disappointed in it, there was a lot of fairness throughout it, and especially at the end with just saying and reiterating, it's even. It's down the middle. It's very, very
But
close.
not by saying he was more accurate, though.
Sorry we didn't have your editor to fucking count.
Next time, bring a clicker.
I do think a draw is the most fair outcome. The pressure, the aggression, and I think some of the higher caliber shots in the larger moments belonged to OJ. That, I think, is where my head was at when I would go, I'm leaning OJ. That's why.
And I can't begrudge you of that. Like, as I said, my overall overriding thoughts and feelings about this fight are that if somebody has seen it as an OJ fight, I wouldn't be looking at them saying, you don't know what you're talking about. Because I can make the argument that OJ won that fight because of pressure, because of him coming forward and being the aggressor. I feel like I can also make the argument for me having won that fight because of the accuracy, because of touching him more than he touched me, basically. And obviously we can both make the argument for the draw, which ultimately is what it was. So I think that probably was the correct decision.
Exactly. The judges saw it the same way. 39-37 OJ.
Yeah.
That's one school of thought. 39-37 towards you. That's another school of thought.
Yeah.
And obviously 38-38. And so it's why the two things for me to the last couple things I've got is more rounds. I think, again, I just want conclusion. I want finality, especially considering the stakes of this fight. Mm-hmm. Like we talked about, there's a title shot that likely was going to get awarded to the winner that they would have earned. And now we don't know what's going to happen. Maybe there's a rematch. Maybe there's a tag team. Maybe one of you just gets a title shot and the fans are going to be like, well, why the fuck is OJ or Ash getting it if they had a draw? So I think that's why I would have liked a fifth round, a sixth round, something to get more conclusion. And again, the commentary, you want bad commentary, go watch my fight with Gabe Silva, where I'm getting called a fat ass, I'm getting called a slob, and they're saying I had pizza. I know everyone's concerned I'm not going to make weight. I didn't have pizza for like 6 weeks. Then I dropped 16 pounds. I went from 178 to 162. I weighed in 8 pounds below what the fight was at, and I'm getting called fat and a loser, and then I died. So there's worse commentary for everyone that wants to come for the team. And
although, as I said to you beforehand, I will maintain that I actually think the commentary was great, because I think the job of the commentators is to enhance the viewing experience and to create narratives, to give some backstory, to potentially do some educating, but ultimately it's to add to the spectacle, and I think you guys did your job in doing that. There were times where obviously I felt like I was hard done by, but ultimately I do think that you guys did a great job on the commentary. It's just a case of you see the fighting game differently to how I see it, and I do love that it's an honest disagreement as opposed to you being lazy or anything. It's just genuinely me and you can watch the same 30 seconds and in our heart of hearts just view it completely differently, and I think that just has to be respected, and this is kind of cool. Like, I like the variance in humans.
When I get stabbed next minute, the dumpster. I hope Ashley Rak-Su is suspect number 1.
No, bro, did you not see on Twitter? You're on my 7-man hit list.
I the only thing I want to fight next is a layup, Ash. I don't watch you, dog.
I couldn't believe how many people took that list seriously as well.
You put Chase DeMore up there as well.
But it is what it is. That would be a good question though. What personally, I feel like OJ does deserve a shot at Jarvis. That's my personal thoughts. What do you think should be next for the two of us, besides the obvious, which would be a rematch? If the rematch didn't happen, where would you have us both go?
Gosh, I mean, if either of you got a crack at Jarvis, I don't think I would be complaining.
Yeah. I couldn't get there. 155 would be beyond me, so it would have to be.
But I thought it was at 65, or is that Slim at 65?
That's Slim. Slim's at 65, Jarvis is at 55. So 6'5" that's me, but Jarvis 155, I couldn't get there.
I mean, a Slim fight for either of you, I wouldn't hate. I know Slim is locked in on KSI and wants kind of the bigger step-ups. I feel a Salt Poppy fight for either of you, I wouldn't hate either. Maybe if OJ wants to go to Jarvis and you could go to Salt Poppy, I think that makes sense. The dude's on a 2-fight losing streak getting finished. He needs a step back from the mega stars. We're pushing Salt Poppy to the moon, and not saying that you're not that necessarily, of course, right? But you know what I'm trying to say. And that's like, I'm trying to be. It's a respectful thing. You know what I mean?
I hear you. You know, the thing is, I wouldn't have even mentioned it if you didn't.
I was like, no, I'm not. But yeah, so what you want to do next is 6'5", 7'5". Like, obviously that was the lowest you've weighed in a long time, and you felt pretty good at that weight. Yeah,
because I think I still carry too much muscle for boxing purposes. Like, I've got muscle in areas that don't help me fight, and ultimately, like, it doesn't help with the lactic acid build-up and my gas tank. So that's why I'm like, I can probably get down lower. Like, I can. There's more for me to. There's actually more for me to lose, and I think I will be better, slightly lighter still as well. My first fight was at 190. My second was 185, then 180, then 175, then 170. So I'm like, my body's adapting and getting lower, and so I'm getting fitter and faster as I go. So yeah, the future should be bright.
You versus Dean the Great is.
No, I reckon 165 is my limit. If it was pro boxing and there was a 168 division, that's probably where I would go to. Scientifically, I could get to 160 as well. Like, I know that. Again, if I was a pro, I probably would be a middleweight. Just looking at my height, looking at my stature, middleweight 160 would make a lot of sense, right? But 155, that seems like it's a long way away. I don't think I'm getting down there. Yeah.
I mean, you looked absolutely shredded at 65.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know what more this guy can take off.
Probably some muscle.
Probably muscle.
Yeah, like honestly, there's some stuff going on here in my chest and some stuff going on in my back, which like it's just unnecessary for the sport of boxing. Like it might look good on the beach, but like that's.
I mean, talking to a guy that doesn't have any muscle. I can't have a frame of reference. I know, like, I gotta cut off my lat muscles. Yeah, it wouldn't. It just doesn't register to me, Ash.
Hey, listen, bro. 6 months and you can look completely different. When are you fighting again?
I don't know. That's the million. But that, I would say, Billy, that's like the $12 question. Yeah, when is Ben Davis coming back? No, I don't think anyone's asking for it. I think people are much happier with me in the booth than in the ring. But like I said, if they can give me a pretty winnable matchup, then I'm game. Because here's the thing. I think everybody wins if I can go get a good knockout or a good performance, right?
Simple Simon?
It helps out. Who?
Simple Simon?
Isn't that like the 53-year-old?
Yeah.
No, I don't. Well, I would feel bad doing that. I would feel bad knocking out Simple Simon.
How do you think you get on against Most Wanted?
I think I can knock Most Wanted out. That would be a fight. Because again, he's coming up way too much. I would make him go up to like the high 140s, maybe even the 150s, and I just know that he would be significantly slower. I don't think that he'd be able to take my power. And you give me a good 5 weeks. Most is one of the easiest fights that I could probably have.
Damn, Most versus Ben Davis at 155. Let's make it happen. That's what we need.
That Derek from Better Media guy, that really is the top of my hit list. But yeah, we could do that.
Well, my brother, once again, I want to say congratulations, because I do love this story arc. I love the fact that you jumped in there with Gabe, took a risk to step into this world as a play-by-play guy. And I know you weren't even sure you were going to be doing the commentary the other night, and
on the fight night, yeah.
And look how that turned out, man. So I'm really, really happy for you. So congrats, bro.
No, and listen, if the fans liked us breaking this down, maybe a little, who knows, some more content between one Rak-Su and Bane.
Listen, we'll call it the breakup.
Wouldn't be bad, man.
No, but it's a good shout. Yeah, I think it'll probably be worth doing. I'm gonna get this like edited ASAP. We'll get it out, and if people enjoy it, then yeah, man, let's do it.
I appreciate your time, brother. I'll see you soon.
All right, man. Take care.